Dustin Phillips here, and we are doing another rod breakdown video. Today's rod is the assault rod. A lot of you may be familiar with the assault rod. We've had this for a few years now. Last year or two, it's went through some changes, some new updates. We're going to break down the whole line here. What's new with the assault, what it's used for, line size, target species, who should use this rod. We're going to do a full breakdown top to bottom. Let's go. If you're familiar with our rods, you know that each rod line is designed with a specific purpose. We try to eliminate overlap of models as best we can. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to creating a rod line specifically targeting those who are rough on their gear, but still want something that's high performance. So that is the assault. Why is the assault more durable or more rugged than some of our other models? Well, if you look at our other breakdown video, like the sniper and the banshee, those are more tuned for artificials, a little bit of live bait with the sniper itself, but it's really an all-around fishing rod, a little bit of everything. The assault was built off of those blank designs, but what we did was we had the blanks created with a thicker inner wall. So there's a little bit more materials wrapped into a tighter span, so it's a little bit tighter, a little bit thicker. So what that does is that allows us to get more power in the middle of the rod without creating super big diameter blanks, so it still stays sleek and light. It's not adding a ton of weight, but it's giving you more power. So more power through the midsection all the way to the tip. It's a little bit stiffer feeling, like the 8 to 17 model in the assault rod is a little bit stiffer feeling than our other 8 to 17s, and that's because it has more of a stiffness all the way out throughout the rod through the tip. The reason for that is we're selling this rod to a lot of charter captains, a lot of people who want power fishing rods. So they're fishing structures, docks, mangroves, places where they really need to be able to get good, strong hook sets and pull this fish out of those, structures or oysters, whatever it is. That's the design behind the blank, is for power fishing. So it's got a great power, pound for pound, as strong as any of our rods, and pound for pound as strong as any rod in its line class. So it's a little bit different feel. It's not quite as long distance casting as some of our other models. Now it still will cast very far because it still has tangle-free guides, but it's really not focused on casting distance. This is focused on power fishing and durability, and that's where we go into the next step, is the guides. So on the assault rod, we have double foot guides, even on the light inshore rods, all the way down the rod. So each guide is double foot, even the running guides. Now, this is not very common on this type of rod to have the running guides double foot, especially like an 8 to 17 medium power. And you can see it's got a nice, even flex through it. But these running guides are double foot for the durability aspect. So the people, especially a lot of charter captains, we recommend this rod for people running charters, because you have clients that don't know what they're doing, using the rods, slamming them around. The number one, part of the rod that has a higher chance of breaking is the running guides. They're small, they have a single foot, they're fragile. So this rod was designed to really eliminate that issue for the people who are a bit more rough on their gear. We've seen a huge drop in people with running guide issues, and guide issues overall, which we don't have that as a huge problem, but the people who are more rough on their gear, this rod solved that problem. So those double foot guides all the way down, you would think it would affect the castability. It really doesn't, because your tangle-free guide leaning up is still positioned in the same way. The line's flowing the same way. It adds a very little bit more weight on the upper end of the rod, but due to the way this rod balances, it doesn't affect the balance. It still balances beautifully. You get the right size reel on there. It's gonna balance just like the snipers and the stealths, right in the grip. It's a very, very well-balanced rod for what it is. The next step in this is it's a full grip, so it sits down in the rod holders. It gets banged around. Clients, especially who are fishing with charter captains, can stick it under their arm a little more comfortably. Little bit longer rear butt length than our standard models too. All those things sits better in the rod holder. But the best thing about the assault is, despite all of the bulkier and more durable componentry, is it's still very lightweight. I mean, it doesn't weigh a lot. You're probably closer to 5 ounces versus the around 4 for most of our other models. So you do pick up a little bit of weight, but it's not crazy noticeable. It's still very, very lightweight. And what we wanted to do to continue the trend of most of our other rods is we wanted the reel seat to still have those characteristics of a BullBay rod, which it comes with the aluminum secondary locking nut, so it's got the double locking reel seat. that reel is going to tighten down. It's going to be borderline hard to get off once this is all locked in and it's fished a bunch. But that gives you peace of mind. Your reel's never going to back loose. It's also got these carbon fiber finger touch points here. So when you're fishing, you can stick your finger right on that, and the sensitivity will be right into your hand, your finger. If you're touching that carbon fiber insert there, it's going to help transmit the vibrations a little bit better. Really a really comfortable ergonomic reel seat. It's really an easy to fish rod, even with the the double foot guides and everything. You look at it, you think it's heavy. It's not. It's super lightweight. Casts really good. So let's break down the sizes now of the Assault and what's available in this series. So new for 2022, we added a few models at the top of the bag and a few at the bottom. We'll start with the new ones. This is a 6'6", 8 to 17 medium heavy. So this actually is the shortest spinning rod that we currently make. It's a phenomenal rod for accuracy, docks, mangroves, sidearm casting, really, trying to be accurate and still have a good backbone and balance. This is a great rod there. It comes in a 6'6", 8 to 17 medium heavy, and it also comes in a 10 to 20 version, which the 10 to 20 version is a really great power rod for its size. At a 6'6", it's got a ton of backbone, a ton of power. Answer some questions. We have a 6'8" in the Banshee series and the 10 to 17. It's a good feeling rod, but we needed something with a little bit more power for especially for snook fishing, docks, and stuff like that. So the 10 to 20 Assault 6'6" answers that question. So those will be available in the fall of 2022 in the 6'6" sizes. And then we go up to our standard stuff. So we have a 6 to 12 medium, and 8 to 17 medium heavy, 10 to 20, 12 to 25, and 15-30. Now those are all available in 7-foot and 7.6, except for the 15-30, which only comes in 7.10 right now. And then we have a 7.10 20-40 that will look just like this rod here. That'll be available in the fall as well. It's going to be a great alternative tarpon rod. The 20-40 will be a good lighter tarpon rod. If you know, our brute force tarpon rod is our main, heavy duty one. But for the guys that are not fishing Boca Grande but fishing for tarpon elsewhere, you're not getting into 120, 30 pound tarpon, but you're getting into 80 to 100. The 20-40 is a great rod for that. It's got a great backbone, good tip. Will launch crabs. It also makes a really fun like cobia rod with big swim baits. Then you go down one size to the 15-30. And that's your big snook rod, your lighter cobia. You can go kingfish, beach fishing for big redfish, snook, whatever. Striper up in the Northeast. We do have a lot of guys using that for striper. It's with the 710 length and the Tangle Free guides. It's going to cast your bigger baits up to 2-ounce lures. It's going to cast effortlessly far, super durable. It's still very sensitive, and this is a great feeling model there. We got that stepped down to a 12 to 25, so that's your near shore, bigger inshore, maybe even like a light snapper rod, stuff like that. That's a fun one, really well balanced and works in a lot of different fisheries. Then we have a 10 to 20, 7 to 7.6, so that's your bigger inshore rod, or a light striper, heavier power, a little bit stiffer tip than the 8 to 17, but it's still light enough you can throw some artificial baits, bigger topwaters, bigger swim baits. So that's a good tweener rod, kind of, if you're kind of in between, you want something a little bit heavier, but not a huge heavy duty rod. That's your 10 to 20 there. It comes with a little bit bigger reel seat than the 8 to 17, so it accommodates a little bit bigger reels. The grips are a little bit thicker, same kind of concept, all double foot guides all the way down. Then you come back down to the standard size, which we started with 8 to 17 medium heavy. This is one of our best selling overall rods for an individual rod. Just the versatility of it is incredible. You can do so much with it. It's still light, still got a good action to it. You still cast very far. But this rod is really just durable and high performance. So if you're looking for something that is gonna last a while, it's gonna cast really well, it's gonna give you all those benefits of a high-end, high-performance rod. But you do need the durability. Maybe your kids might use the rod occasionally, and you're worried that they might ding it up a little bit, or you are a charter captain or somebody that fishes with a lot of people, and you've got your gear being used. It's a great rod for that. I'd highly recommend the Assault rod for anybody who's needing something a little bit more durable, but still high performance. It's not an e-glass rod where it's just whippy and it's going to bend down into a giant sea and have no power. Like, no, this has got a really good performance, based blank, and the whole rod itself it's a great line for us. It's been very popular. I'd recommend on your mediums and medium heavies, I would say, no larger than 4,000. I'd say 2,500 up to a 4,000. Kind of like all of our other series, we kind of rate them, similarly, medium heavies up to 4K. This line particularly, if you do go a little bit higher braid than you would on like say a sniper or something, on our other series, you can go a little bit higher line rating on these, and they'll be able to handle it. So that also ties into the versatility side of it. So if you do go up a little bit in weight on your line, it's not going to be an issue. On the medium heavy 8 to 17, I definitely recommend probably a 3,000. A lot of reel companies now, you've kind of got your higher performance reels in the 2,500, 3,000. They're all making them with just as much drag as those bigger reels, but in a smaller frame. So that works really well for that. The larger ones, as you get up into the 12 to 25s and 15, 30, 20, 40s, I mean, you can go with a 4,000 or 5,000 comfortably on that 12 to 25. The 15, 30, you could go with a 5,000, maybe up to, I probably wouldn't go over a 6 on it. I just don't think it's necessary. 20, 40, same, 6,000. You could get an 8,000 on it, but I don't know if it would be the best balance. I think an 8,000 should go up to our brute force models. So I'd stick a max of a 6,000 up on the 2040s. You'll get a ton of line on those reels. You get a ton of drag and power. The rod's got a ton of power. The goal is always to try to pair it up and keep it lightweight as possible. So that's what I would recommend on these setups. But remember, key points here is we're going for durability, for power, for performance, all blended into one. And this is kind of what you get with that. Gives you a good alternative inshore rod and freshwater if you're using it for those bigger striper, maybe smaller muskie and maybe pike and stuff like that. You could absolutely do that if you're in the Northeast. But saltwater rod all around, this is a great option. Most of our stores have these in stock. You can find them online, BullBayRods.com. If you want any more detailed information on the assault or lure ratings, check our website. It's got a table on the product page for it that has all the specs for each rod, the weights, etc. Tune in, so like, subscribe on the video. Make sure you're commenting what you'd like to see next, giving us feedback. Also, make sure you're sharing and telling your friends about the videos. This allows us to produce more content. We'll do more breakdowns in the future. So make sure you like, subscribe, and tune in.